South Africa shares a deep and connected history with civilian activism, and on a timeline, it's hard not to see the tremendous impact it has had on our country today. Whether for justice or equality, fairness or access, civic action has generated the momentum to make real change, differences that have had impact from the ground up. And while there are many names we have to celebrate, these are far from the only forces for good. In the early months of the pandemic, it became clear that marginalized communities, places where access funding and infrastructure had already been historically low, were being disproportionately affected. The reality of widening gaps became apparent.
In 2009, I recognized the need for increased awareness and cancer screening in South Africa's indigenous communities. And it was then that, with other like-minded professionals, we established Pink Drive, a health sector NGO on the premise that early detection will help prolong a life. Funding from corporates, foundations and embassies such as the Japanese embassy allows Pink Drive to take their mobile women's health unit to provide screening and education. The impact is significant, as not only is the service free, but by being mobile allows Pink Drive to service any community accessible by road across South Africa.
The scale of support for marginalized communities varies, but the contribution remains important, and to many can mean a world of difference. For these communities, basic human rights like access to healthcare and treatment, medicine, food and water are often uncertain.
Orlando Children's Home was established in 1940 to take care of children that are abandoned, lost, neglected, and all the children needing assistance. We do have those that grow up in a children's home, and those who are duty-bound to make sure that they grow up like all the other children and become responsible adults. Orlando Children's Home is an NGO, and we need to fundraise in all sorts of ways. So if we do not get the funding that we need, the place will be dilapidated and it will fall apart. This big building that you see, it's capital expenditure. Without the help of the funders, there is no way that we can be able to do this. This aid has been a massive contribution. For instance, we at Orlando Children's Home believe that healthy mind, healthy body. So we would love our children to value the healthy body so that they can perform better at school. And when they go out of this place, they are ready for the day. So when the Embassy of Japan, the people of Japan, said we will give you a massive place where you can do all these things, for us it really was music to our ears. And we thank the Embassy and the people of Japan for having done that.
The donation helped us a lot because we just applied for this funding because we had a problem of overcrowding. And there was also a problem with security. Our classrooms were made up of timber structure. So we felt that at least those structures were not that much safe to children.
So now in those classrooms, find that sometimes it is too hot, and then there is no enough ventilation, and then learners are squashed, you see, in the classrooms there. So now it was not healthy for them to be learning in such a situation, you see. So it was very much important for us to at least focus on that as the priority, that if we are having some funding to come to a rescue to us, we first focus on removing those timber structures. And everything was done in time, though we're having some challenges here and there. Of course, with the help of the coordinators at the Japan Embassy, eventually everything went well, The structures were complete.
Now they can see that the children are taught in good classrooms that Japan embassy provided. The classrooms that we're having now are providing a good security to the children, and they will stay for a long time because at least they are made up of proper material.
Meaningful change comes from deep and long-term commitment. And for the grassroots activists working tirelessly to create positive impacts, the communities they serve are where these changes can be felt the most.